Why do you feel failure so much? Why do you fear embarrassment? Why do you fear what other people think about you? Why do you fear the future so much? Why do you feel so much anxiety, so much anxiousness when it comes to the future? How come you can't just be totally present and just be accepting of whatever happens in whatever event you're trying to be successful in? Whatever happens, happens. And just give your all and be accepting of that. We as humans, we put so much pressure on succeeding. We put so much pressure on immediate success. And this happens in a lot of point because of social media, because we see so many people have overnight successes. We see people go from literally nothing to everything. We see people go from not even knowing who they are to they're the king of the world or queen of the world. And for some reason, you feel like if you don't get that success in the same amount of time that most successful people claim they've gotten their success, like, oh, I made $1 million in 6 months, or I was a millionaire by 20 years old, or I went viral after 6 videos, or I gained 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. Or maybe you play a sport and you want to be like the best in your sport, and you put so much pressure on yourself, or your parents put so much pressure on you to succeed. And all this fear just builds up because of these expectations. And then you're thinking about it. You're thinking like, what happens if I don't do this right? Or what happens if I don't do this right? Or in terms of content creation, what happens if my family and friends see my videos? What if people judge me? Well, let me give you something funny to think about. If people aren't judging you or hating on you, you're not doing things right. It's when people aren't talking about you that you have to worry. People are going to talk about you when you're doing things that they're not willing to do, because you invalidate their weakness. But let's just talk about the grand spectrum of failure. The fear of failure, anxiety, anxiousness, the act of your mind thinking so intensely about the future, because your mind wants the future to look a certain way. It wants the future to be in the way that it wants it to be. It wants it to be this magical fairy tale, amazing story, this amazing rags to riches story. And everyone's picking you up and they're carrying you and they're chanting your name, right? This is all stuff that your mind is thinking about. It's like role playing your entire life. It's telling your entire life story before it even happens. And you're missing everything that's happening right now. Take into consideration, right now you're watching this video. That's what you're doing right now. The thing that you have to do later is going to be later. When later comes, it's going to be now. But later hasn't come yet. The fear of failure comes from the mind. As I've said many times on this channel, you are not your mind. You are the soul. You are consciousness. You are that which watches the thoughts. How can you be something that you are aware of? How can you be something that you can watch? Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your mental state. That's all mind, but that's not what you are. So when your mind is constantly projecting itself into the future, because all the fear of failure is just maybe you've had like a disappointment in your past, or maybe you've had a failure in your past. And so your mind projects itself into the future. It tries to predict the future using that past event. And you end up destroying yourself, stressing yourself out, feeling like crap because you're so identified with the fear, because you believe that you're the one that's feeling the fear. And yeah, your body's feeling the fear, because emotions is just your body's reactions to the mind. You're feeling the fear, your body, but you're just watching the fear. I'm pretty sure you've had moments where you've thought like, why am I feeling this emotion? Or why do I feel this way? Or why do I feel this way about this person? Or why do I care about this situation so much? Right? It's not you that's caring. It's not you that's feeling. It's your mind. It's all your mind. You are just the present awareness that is watching the mind. You are just that which observes the mind and whatever it's saying and doing. And here's the thing, here's the catch. You don't try and make thoughts stop. You don't try and make the fear go away, because the more you try and make the fear go away, the higher quantities it's going to come in, the stronger it's going to come in, the more intense it's going to be. And then you may suffer from panic attacks and whatever. Me personally, I've never had a panic attack, but I've had really strong anxiety before. And most people wouldn't believe that because I'm a nonchalant person. I rarely show emotions, but I do feel anxiety. And that's a good thing. You want to succeed. You were very ambitious. You want to succeed. You're very ambitious. You want to be successful. You want to retire your parents. You want to be successful in a sport. You want to be successful in a business. You want to be a big time content creator. You have all these dreams and goals. But you shouldn't let that fear stop you from attacking those dreams and going for those dreams and striving for it. As they say in basketball, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't post any videos, how are you going to go viral? If you don't approach that girl, how are you going to get a girlfriend? If you don't take that shot, how can you score points? These are all the things to think about. It's not you that's fearing the failure. It's your mind. It's just your mind. And that's the thing. You don't have to do anything about the fear. The fear is always going to come. Your mind is always going to think thoughts. And your mind is just like a computer. It's always going to bring back whatever's happened in the past to the present in relation to the future. Why? Because it wants to protect you. It's a defense mechanism. It's a part of the whole flight or flight. It's part of the whole that's a tongue twister. The fight or flight. It's a part of the fight or flight mechanism in your brain. And when it feels like it's being threatened, it stops you from taking action. Or it makes you take tremendous amounts of action. Sometimes too much action to the point where you're stressing yourself out. Or it makes you fall victim to the fear so you don't take any action. Thinking, what happens if my family sees my videos? What happens if I miss that shot? If I take that shot and I miss it? You know, the great thing about being a human and understanding, realizing that you're a soul is that you can literally feel failure. You can actually feel failure and still do what you need to do. You can feel depressed and sad and still do what you need to do. And it's not you that's feeling it. You're just aware that you're feeling it, but you don't get taken over by it. And this comes with getting really good at meditation, getting really good at pinpointing and noticing when these thoughts are starting to come up. Pinpointing and noticing, okay, these thoughts are coming up, but I'm not going to get caught up in it. Instead of trying to do things to stop it, whether physically or mentally, I'm just going to let it flow. But that doesn't stop my body from moving. I am present. You realize that, and you do that over and over and over. And eventually, the mind doesn't stop thinking, but to your perspective, it does seem like the fear of failure has stopped. And anxiety is going to happen. Don't think that you're just going to never stop feeling fear or anxiety ever again. It's going to happen. There's no way to make those emotions stop. You're human. You're going to feel emotions. Whether you get drawn up in them or not, whether you get completely consumed and hijacked by them, is depending on your spiritual growth. It depends on how high your consciousness is. It depends on how rigorous and disciplined you are in the practice of meditation, in aligning with your soul and being present. But it happens now. The way you deal with the fear of failure happens now. And the moment you realize that there is a fear, you've already completed step one. And there really is only one step. Now you can do things. Obviously, you can listen to music. You can dance. You can journal. You can draw. You can do these things that really calm your mind. These low stimulation things that can calm your mind. I don't recommend getting on social media and start doom scrolling. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend getting on the video game for hours and hours and hours, like 8 hours, 6 hours, 30 minutes. All right, cool. Because understand that time enjoyed is not time wasted. You know what your coping mechanism is. But find healthy coping mechanisms. Drink water. People like to eat when they're uncomfortable, when they feel a lot of fear. Find a healthy snack to eat on. I heard dark chocolate really helps, actually. I know it tastes kind of bitter, but it helps. I'm just spitballing. These are like the physical things, but the main teaching that I'm trying to get to you is your consciousness, your awareness, your presence. Increasing that is the way that you deal with the fear of failure, because you realize that the mind, whatever the mind is saying, it's fake. It doesn't even exist. Your thoughts aren't real. I know they say your thoughts create your reality, and yes, the better you feel as a result of meditation and becoming more present and increasing your inner peace, which is, you can't really increase it or decrease it. It's always there. You just remember that's there. But to carry along with the conversation, the more inner peace that you acquire, which you don't require, whatever, the more inner peace that you acquire, the more that you remember that you are the inner peace. To your perspective, it seems like your mind quiets down. It seems like you stop thinking. But the mind is always thinking. But you're just better equipped to deal with those thoughts, to deal with the feelings of fear. And you realize that it was all just your mind. It's all just your mind. It's all just your conditioning. Your goals, you'll understand as you grow up, your goals, a lot of your desires come from what society wants you to desire, what your parents want you to desire, what your friends want you to desire. They're not really your desires. It's just something that your mind picks up because your mind wants to fit in. Your mind wants to belong. Your mind cares what other people think. Your mind cares about being embarrassed because it threatens its flight or flight. It activates that fight or flight. And the mind is not bad for doing that. That's just what the mind does. Don't judge the mind because that's just the mind judging the mind. And don't get all mad like, I can't even, oh my God, why is my mind such a pain in the ass? Because that's also your mind getting emotional about your mind and you getting drawn up in your mind, getting emotional about your mind. I hope this video helped. Please subscribe, like the video, comment where you are on your self-improvement journey. Happy New Year's too. Yeah, we growing, we moving, and we locked in. I love y'all. Mwah. Oh yeah, we halfway to 700, so spam that like, spam that like button, spam that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? Give me the 700, you feel me? Love you. Mwah.